So welcome. Happy to have you here. I'm glad that you guys are interested in bajillions and how to reach bajillions of people. That's what I'm gonna teach you how to do today. Now, in the beginning, it makes sense here to just take a step back and think about our why, right? What is our why? In other words, why are we doing this, right? Do we want to create some visual images, share them on Facebook, and reach bajillions of people? Well, I like to think about social media marketing via a fishing metaphor that I may have shared with you before. Now I'm going to type that. I actually wrote an article on this. If you go to postplanner.com fishing, you're going to see this. I'm going to share my screen right now, and then I'm going to for you. Don't get sucked down the tube there. You go to postplanner.com/fishing. Let's talk about our why for a second here. Just before we get into how to create this viral content, let's just talk about why we want to. The way I think about it, social media marketing is kind of an act of fishing. That is, you have a page, right? You have a page, you're out there on the high seas of Facebook, and you have fans, and you're really trying to get those fans to your website so you can turn them into customers. On Facebook, you're kind of nurturing them and building relationships with them, getting them, closer and closer to the point where they're going to click and get onto your website, and then you're going to be able to, turn them into customers. Maybe you're going to take them through a funnel process where they first, install, get an infographic, or they first download an ebook, or they first get on your mailing list and start receive your newsletter. Whatever your strategy and your tactics are there, that's fine. But you got to get them to your website, to actually, start that process. And really, social media and Facebook is the place where you're making that happen, because everyone's on Facebook, everyone's on social media, and including your fans. So you want to get them from there to your website. Well, how do you do that? Well, that's the thing, right? And that's why I like to think about this in the fishing metaphor. I see us social media marketers, us businesses out there on social media. We're like fishermen. We're out on the high seas, right? And it's a big, vast place with fish everywhere across all these seas. The fish are the people, right? They're people who are not your fans, and they're people who are your fans. And what you want to do is you want to get those fish really close to your boat. Now, your boat is your website. That's where you're eventually wanting to bring them. You're trying to pull them out of the seas of social media and into your boat, all right? Well, first you got to get them close to your boat, and you got to get them actively biting. And that's why I think of engaging content, the kind of viral content we're going to make today, as exactly that. I like to call it chum, all right? You're putting the chum out there in the seas. You're putting the chum out there around your boat, and you're getting those fans to bite on that chum and start getting engaged with your stuff. And then eventually you're going to drop in what I like to call your hooks and take those fans back to your website. So again, check out this metaphor. Who's on the pond? Well, the fish. Those are your Facebook fans, all right? They scare easy. They get distracted. They lose interest. So it's easy to lose them. Fisherman, which is you got to be patient, savvy, and you got to think strategically. And that's what I mean by, using this chum to eventually get them into your boat. The chum is, you got to, half the time or part of the time you need to chum the waters. You got to throw out that engaging content, which does not include links back to your website. It's just, you simply put it out there just to entertain, educate, add value, and get those fish biting, right? Get your fans clicking, get your fans liking, get your fans commenting, get your fans sharing. And then in between that chum, you want to drop in the baited hooks, which are links to your website, links to your blog posts, to your ebooks, to your videos, to your tutorials, your infographics. Once those fans click on those items and go back to your website, then you're going to start that funnel process and get them in your funnel and eventually turn them into your customers. And hopefully you retain those customers long term, and you have a viable business. That's what it's all about. Facebook, social media is simply distribution for your website. So I'm going to get back on here. So I very much encourage you to read that article and check out that infographic and start thinking about that. Now, I've had a few people complain, and I understand that, that you don't want to treat your fans like fish. You don't want to dehumanize them. I get that. You're not trying to manipulate people here. You're trying to influence their behavior. Okay, that's what we do in marketing. We try to influence people's behavior. And that's what you're doing as a social media marketer. You're putting out great, awesome, entertaining, educating, funny, valuable chum that people will actually enjoy, that will enrich their lives, make them happy, right? Make them smarter. And then in between that chum, you're going to drop in links to your website. And the way that Facebook and social media works, the better the chum does, the better your baited hooks will do. Because the more clicks you get on your chum, the more bites you get on your chum, the more likes and shares and comments you get on your images, your videos, your status updates. Because of the way the Facebook algorithm works, you're going to get more reach. Your hooks are going to reach more of your fans as well. So we want to create these viral images that we're going to create today, so we can get lots of engagement. And then when we drop in our awesome blog posts that get our fans into the funnel and help us turn them into customers, we're going to get more of them. Bajillions, hopefully. Because if we get bajillions, then ultimately our business is just going to do better. Okay? So keep that in mind the whole time. It's always good to start with the why we're doing this stuff. We're not doing it just for the sake of doing it. We're doing it with a specific goal in mind. We want to get more of our fans to our website and turn them into customers. All right. Now, I don't want to belabor that point too much. Otherwise, you guys are going to get bored. And that's the last thing I want. So let's just jump right into it, baby. Let's get into the viral bajillions content. Now, I did a webinar about a month ago, and I kind of ran through a process that I'm going to run through again today. And I created an image on that webinar that I put it out during the webinar. I created it on the webinar. I put it out on Facebook during the webinar, and it ended up reaching 38 million people. Now let's go check this out. I'm going to show you. I got to share my screen again. 1 second. All right. So let's see here. Here's Facebook. Here's our fan page. If you have not gone to our fan page and liked it, you got to do that. Okay. Facebook.com/postplanner. Okay, cool. Let's check out the insights here. We're going to find that awesome post. We're going to go over here to posts, insight posts. We're going to go down here, and then we're going to sort by reach. And you're going to see one pop up at the top that's just massive, big outlier. And that is the post that I did on that last webinar. And this is a big challenge. I'm going to see if I can pull this off again. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to see if I can pull it off again. Here is the post. You'll see that it has reached 37.4 million people. It has had 2.7 million reactions, comments, and shares. Tons of likes, tons of shares, a lot of engagement. So let's break this down. Let's try to think critically about this image here and try to figure out, what we need. What are the attributes of this image? What can we replicate? What are the themes that we can take away, the tips that we can take away, so we can repeat those and get some big results again, okay? So that's the story of, you guys know the story of how this post came about. Let's describe it here. Okay, well, what do you notice? What's the first thing that I notice is that it has readable, high contrast text. And in my opinion, that's like the number one most important thing. That text on there, I was raised to treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. That is white text in a very readable sans serif font in a very large size on a black background or a very dark background. So that white on dark background has high contrast between the letters and the background, and it's completely easy. It's a breeze to read. I don't have to work hard at all to read that text right there. Now, if I had made the background a little bit lighter or a lot lighter, if I'd made the, the font darker, then there would be less contrast between the font and the background, and it would be harder to read. It would be more work for me as a viewer to read. And in my opinion, that would make it perform worse. So that's the first thing, readable, high contrast text. Number two, it speaks, the text itself speaks in a first person voice, right? It starts with I was raised. I was raised to treat the janitor. This is very important because you got to remember, you put yourself in the shoes, see through the eyes, live in the body of the person who's going to share this. Why are they going to share it? Well, when they do share it, they're expressing this I actually becomes them, right? If I share this image to my Facebook friends, that I right there really becomes me. I'm kind of telling people, look, I'm like this I. I was raised to treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. That's very important, okay? In my opinion, these kind of texts with I, they allow the fans who share them to kind of to express a sentiment that expresses something about their character, something about who they are, okay? Very important. Number three, it expresses values, all right? The values here I see is like respectfulness, equality, fairness, kindness, generosity. These are all positive values that people want to be associated with them, right? They want to say to the world, they want to say to social media, their friends on social media, that I have these values. I'm a respectful person. I'm all about equality. I'm fair. I value kindness and generosity. So that's another reason why I think this thing did so well. So readable, high contrast text. It speaks in the first person with I was. It expresses values, positive values. Number four, it has a simple nostalgic image. Let's look at the image. It's very simple. There's just a man who we assume is a janitor because of the context of the text. He's in a parking lot, it looks like, and seems to be, doing work. And it's very simple. It's not, I don't have to think too much to connect the text to the image, right? It's very straightforward. So, it does seem, because it's black and white, it seems like it's, it's not in a big city or anything like that. It kind of reminds us of maybe of school. So that's why I say it's nostalgic. Number five, there's a human in the image. We notice that there's actually a person in the image. I think this is pretty important. People like to look at and are naturally attracted to images that have humans in them. Okay, so that's another attribute. And I already mentioned this, but the image relates directly to and reiterates and adds context to the quote. Right? It relates the quote, it reiterates it, and it adds context to it. All right. And finally, the last quality and attribute we see here is that thing down there in the middle, at the bottom of the image, and that is the Post Planner logo. Right? You see in the Post Planner logo, and that's very important. We want that on there because as this spreads out across the world, across the social media universe to 38 million people, well, we want them all to see our logo so that we can get brand recognition and reap some rewards for this. So there you go. Those are the qualities. Let me review them one more time. A readable, high contrast text. It speaks in the first person. It expresses positive values that people want to be associated with. It's simple, has a simple nostalgic image, has a human in the image. The image relates directly to the quote, and that we have our logo in the bottom. Okay. Now, so those are the qualities. Let's talk a little bit more about what we think drove the virality of this. What factors drove the success of this image? Well, I'm going to reiterate a few things. In the end, the question is, why is it so shareable? I mean, that's what drove all this virality, is that people shared this image with their friends, with their community on Facebook. Well, why was it shareable? Well, it's shareable because it's shareable to express values, as we talked about. People want to share it because they want to say, look, I have these values too. It's shareable to express who I am, which it goes right along with that, right? I'm the kind of person who was raised to treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. That's the kind of person I am. It's who I am. it's also in an interesting way. It's shareable to kind of express my upbringing, which is tied to who I am and tied to my values. But it's something about my upbringing and kind of a shout out to my parents almost, right? My parents raised me to treat the janitor the same as the CEO. They raised me to give me these kind of awesome values, these positive values. And in a sense as well, I think that you can't really look past one final thing, and that is it's shareable to kind of express a contrast between me and the people who don't have these values, right? To a certain degree, when someone shares this, they're saying there are people out there who don't treat the janitor the same way as the CEO. And guess what? I'm not one of those people. I was raised to treat them the same, okay? So now, this analysis is specifically for this image, but I encourage you that when you do have a high-performing post, that you go in there and you perform this kind of analysis. You look at it very closely and you think about, what are the attributes that the image has, and what do you think that are the driving factors of the success for the image? I just broke those down. Now, and the final thing you should really do is think, okay, well, this did well, but are there any possible improvements here? Could we have done this better? The only one that I can really think of in this case is that, this image is a rectangle. It's a horizontal landscape image. Now that might help with the image on Facebook, but it kind of it makes it less perfect for Instagram, for example. So we could probably share this thing on Instagram, the same kind of theme, same background image in a square form, and it would probably kick ass there as well. But we can't do it. I mean, we could, but it's just going to be less than ideal. So that's the one thing that we could possibly improve this by making it a perfect square. And you'll see that the ones we do today, we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna try to make them perfect squares, okay? So that we can share them both on Facebook, Instagram, and anywhere else that we want to share images. I think that should kind of be your default, right? That you should just default to square, and then in cases that you want to go a longer length, for example, on Pinterest, you want those longer, vertically long images. You can do that. And you can do horizontally long ones for example, Twitter. But in my opinion, the default should probably be a square. So we're going to stick with squares today. All right, cool. Let me get back on camera here. All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed the bajillions post. I think we identified most of the attributes there. We figured out what drove that virality. I mean, we don't know for sure, but that was the best analysis that I could come up with. I'm just seeing, provide the article link again to join. Okay, Leanne's gonna help you out with that stuff over in the comments. If you guys have questions, throw them over in the comments, and Leanne's gonna hook you up with some answers over there. Okay, cool. All right, well now let's get into it, right? Let's get into it. Let's see if we can pull this off again. All right, let's see if we can pull this off. Let's see if we can throw down a million reach post. I'm gonna do my best. Before we do that though, let's think about what we need. Remember that I did not, and I kind of forgot to tell this part of the story, and it's actually absolutely fundamental to the story. That quote that I used, the CEO and janitor quote, I did not just pull that out of anywhere. I did not just come up with that out of my head. I did not see it on a book, or I did not see it on a billboard coming to work, right? I found it in a very specific place, and that place is Post Planner, in the Post Planner app. If you go to Post Planner, you will land on the Find section. Just head to our app, love.postplanner.com. You're going to log in there and you're going to be in Find, and that's where you find content. That's where you can find images, you can find articles, you can find status ideas, and coming soon, videos. But for now, you go in there and you find content, and that content has data associated with it. All right, and that particular quote, the CEO janitor quote, was on an image that was in Post Planner that had a 5-star rating. So this image, and it didn't have I'm pretty sure, as I remember, that image did not have a background. It was just simply a text on a plain background. And that image still got a 5-star rating, which means it performed very, very well in comparison to the other posts on that particular page. So it outperformed all the posts on that page. And that's why I decided, okay, let's pull that. Let's use that text. And we're going to create our own image with that text. And, you know, in the end, that really comes down to being data driven with your content selection. And that's what we're going to do today. So as we break down what we need to get started creating this image that we're going to create today, the number one thing we need is a data driven quote. Right? We're not just going to be like, oh, I really like this quote. My mom used to tell me this quote, and it's a really good quote, and I'm going to create an image with it. No, you know, maybe you have that quote, and you know, that's great, but that's going to be to use that quote would basically to be guessing, right? You're going to be guessing if you use that quote. You're just going to be throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that other people love that quote as much as you do and want to share it as, you know, in a way that expresses the same amount of love that you have for the quote. Well, that's pretty risky, in my opinion, in the sense that, I mean, it's not a risk to your life or anything, but it's risky in the sense that you don't really have any data that tells you that that image is that text is going to work, right? So luckily, you do have Post Planner, which you can log into at love.postplanner.com and go to the Find section, and you can immediately see a plethora of texts that are all data driven, right? They all have data behind them. If you see 5-star, 4.5-star, 4-star images there with text on them, you know that they've outperformed. They've already proven themselves. It's proven content, all right? And that's really what we want to do here. That's why, I mean, in the end, all this other stuff that I talked about, right? All the other attributes of that CEO, janitor image, in the end, the most important thing was that it was already proven. All right, it had already outperformed. All right, we were just replicating it and making it better, and then making it perform better on our page. That's what I want you guys to do, and that's what you can use Post Planner to do. Okay, so we need 4 things, and I actually wrote these on the board here. So I'm gonna show that to you right here. All right here. This is what you need. You need a data-driven quote. Take a screenshot if you can do that. You need a data-driven quote. You need a background image. These are like your supplies for the day, okay? You need a data-driven quote, a background image, your logo, and design software. Those are the 4 kind of things and tools you need. You need a data-driven quote from Post Planner. You need a background image, and I'm going to show you some awesome free sites to get copyright-free imagery that you can just use as much as you want. You need your logo, which you guys should have. Hopefully you have like a black or white version of it that you can pull into your software and whatever design software you use. And you need design software. Now, I'm an old school guy. I'm an old school Photoshop guy. I do like the new tools like Canva and Relay and these others. They're awesome tools. I recommend them. If you want to use them, go for it. Personally, I prefer Photoshop just because I know how to use it. I've been using it for years. I can do things very quickly there and efficiently there. I'm going to be using Photoshop today, but I'm not going to be doing anything that's super complicated. That requires a lot of expertise. You're going to see it's very simple stuff. So those are the things we need. We need data-driven quote, which we're going to get from Post Planner in a second. We're going to go into Post Planner and see what we can find. We need a background image, which I'm going to share with you some really great sources for free, copyright-free background images. Grab your logo if you don't have it. Get it out of that folder wherever it is on your computer, and then open up that design software that you're going to be using, whether that's Canva, Photoshop, Relay, whatever. All right, let's do this, huh? Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so hopefully you got your Post Planner up. Here is the link to Post Planner, just in case you don't have it up there already. I'm going to throw that in the comments here. There's a link to the app. All right. I think that got through. Yeah, there you go. It's up there on the top. Go log in there. And now I'm going to share my screen and we'll just do this together. Okay, let's do it. All right, so this is like the default view Post Planner. Okay, we'll just load that up. You're going to come in here and you're going to go in, you're going to land in the find section, and you're going to immediately see a bunch of high performing quote images. We put like 50, I think it's almost up to 80 pages in this particular section of quotes. So you have like 80 pages that are sharing quotes all the time. We're evaluating all their images and we're showing you the top performing ones. So there you go. Now, so that's our one tool. The other one that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to share a couple of them with you, but this is a great source that I just discovered yesterday. It's a blog post. I'm going to, pardon the inception there, but I'm going to throw that in there too. That's in the comments up there. This is a pretty sweet blog post that says 18 amazing sites with breathtaking free stock photos. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see a bunch of options where you can get some pretty high quality professional photos for absolute free, and you don't have to worry about whether, you don't have to worry about breaking copyrights, or doing anything illegal. You can get free, copyright free photos from any of these places. Now, this is the ones that I'm going to use today are two. One is Unsplash, which is right here. And this is basically the home page. When you come on here, you're going to see the featured images of the day. And you can just scroll down and find just really amazing photos. And then you're going to, another one is Pexels. And Pexels actually isn't in this blog post. And Pexels is maybe my favorite one of all. So go check out Pexels.com. I'll throw those into the comments over here, Pexels.com, and then Unsplash. Definitely check these out. Really, really impressive stuff. I mean, you can use this. You can use these photos and look really, really cool by just going with the high quality stuff. Okay. So we've got the two first things covered. We got our data-driven quote. That's what we're going to get from Post Planner, right? And then we have our background images. We have a ton to choose from. We're gonna go through that process in a second. Hopefully you have your logo and hopefully you've chosen your design software. All right. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, then let's get right to it. Let's see what we can find here. I'm gonna look for a quote that I'm gonna use on my image, and let's see what we can find. What's looking good here? Who gossips to you will gossip about you. Interesting. I kind of want to do something just really positive today, though. I'm feeling positive, so I'm gonna want to do something positive. Let's see what we can find in a month. What's this top one? To all the people who are loving and kind to me, thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. That's interesting. Now look, if we let me expand that so you guys can see it. To all the people who are loving and kind to me, thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. Now recall that kind of, first of all, it's positive, right? Let's think about it in terms of the qualities that, first of all, we can see it has 5 stars, right? It was shared 10,000 plus times on this page, positive quotes. It outperformed all the other images on that page. So clearly it was served to a very large audience of people, and they responded by basically upvoting this image and this quote above all others, okay? So what do we have here? We have this quote, and the way it kind of coincides with some of the qualities of that janitor CEO quote is, notice that it's kind of it's speaking in first person, right? It's like you saying, you can imagine if you shared this, what would you really be saying to the world? What would you be saying to your friends? Well, you would be basically thanking them, right? You're saying, hey, to all the people who are loving and kind to me, hey, you guys, all you guys, my friends, thank you for bringing sunshine into my life. So that's what I'm guessing is really driving this, is that people are sharing this, and they're saying, and they're sharing it because it expresses their emotion, their gratitude to their friends. It helps them send positive vibes to their friends and to their network. So I think that's a pretty good thing, and I think that we could probably create a really cool image with this quote and get some pretty awesome results. So let's do it. So let's take that quote to all the people who, we'll just keep it up here. That won't take us, we don't need to write it out right now. We can write it out on our image. So let's just decide that that's our quote. All right, decided, deal. Okay, cool. All right, now we got to go find an image. Okay, so let's go here and see what we can find. We're going to type in sunshine, right? Because that's the kind of theme. I remember we wanted to connect our image with our quote, and I think that the obvious kind of content here, we could talk about loving, or maybe we could find an image about love, but that might be more about, romantic love. So maybe we won't find something there. Kindness, it's not really, maybe not a visual thing so much, but sunshine's a visual thing. I'm sure we can find images of sunshine, right? So let's try that. Let's put sunshine in there. Yep, sure enough, we got some images here. Let's evaluate some of these. This one looks pretty cool. It's a beautiful image. We can put that into a new tab. It's a pretty nice image. Kind of feels nostalgic, but the problem is it's missing a human. Remember, we like images with humans, so we don't really want one with a tree, right? This is the content of this quote is that they're talking to your friends. So we want a human in there. This one's pretty cool. We can consider that. Let's keep that top of mind. See what else we can see down here. This one I like because there's a human. I'm basically looking for humans here. Dogs and pets, I think, kind of operate the same way to a certain degree as humans, that they kind of provide a way for us to identify with another living being. So we could use this dog image. That's a possibility as well. So a lot of good stuff here. Let's try Pexels. See what Pexels has. I'm gonna go into Pexels and I'm gonna type sunshine. Ooh, that one's cool, right? That one jumps out at me right there. It's right in the top position too. It's also a heart, right? So we got the love thing going on too. We got sunshine coming through two people. It's a relationship. We got love in the heart. This is probably too perfect. This is probably too perfect to turn down. I think we probably have to use this one. All right. So cool. We got two things checked off right now. Okay. We've got number one, our quote. It's data driven. It's a 5-star quote that's performed well in the past. We have got a sweet image here that just goes pretty much perfectly with our quote. Wow, we're making some progress. So what else do we need? We need our logo, which I have on my desktop, and we need some design software, which I have. Okay, so I'm going to be using Photoshop. Okay, so the first step that we want to do is we want to grab this, and I'm just going to pull it over. You're not going to see this, but I'm going to pull it over into Photoshop, and then I'm going to start sharing my Photoshop. So 1 second here. Let's see. Where do I share that? Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to share my screen, and this time I'm going to share Photoshop. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so here I am in Photoshop. I've got my image. Now I need, and let's just follow the same format that we used with the CEO janitor, which we're going to put like text on the top and bottom. We're going to put this image right in the middle, okay? One thing that I'm kind of, OCD here. I don't like this image is kind of, the first thing I notice is kind of off center. So what I want to do is, I got to notice that maybe I'm going to want to center that heart a little bit more. Okay. But anyway, that's just something that I would want to do. The first step, I think what we need to do is we want to make this square. Okay. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to, let me quit. Yeah, that's actually the right size. Okay. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to canvas size and I'm going to make this square. Let me put it down that size. Now, it's good to actually look at it this small size, maybe even smaller, because that's the size that people are going to see it in the news feed, and on their phones, it's going to be even smaller, right? It's going to be like that size on their phones. So you want to, just like you do in anything, you want to put yourselves in the shoes of the viewer and see what they're going to see. So I would check it out pretty small. All right, what can we do here? Well, the next thing is, like I said, I didn't like that was off center, so I'm just going to quickly. I'm going to center that heart right there. And what I can do on this side is I can just kind of stretch this. Now, this is kind of a technical thing. You guys don't really need to do that. But just in the case of this image, it's just bothering me, I just want it to be centered. So I'm going to center it like that. Notice how I did that. Next thing is I'm going to put a background. So let's, in Photoshop, you just put in a new layer, okay? And then I'm going to, so the layer's there, and then I'm going to just put in a background image, a background kind of color. This is going to be the contrast between that my text is going to be on. Now, one thing you can do with Photoshop is you can kind of take a color from the image. So I'm going to take a dark color from the image. I'm going to pull it from, let me make that a little bigger so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to pull that dark image. Instead of just using black, I'm going to kind of make it a brown. And then I'm going to pour it in there, okay? So here we go, boom. Not too bad. And then I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put it down at the bottom too, all right? Now, hopefully that gives me enough room to do what I need to do. Maybe make that a little bit smaller. Maybe I actually need to make that a little bit darker. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to that's actually kind of a red color. Interesting. I'm going to go like something like this. And then I'm going to, I'm going to put it here and here. That'll even be more contrast. And I like that color, the way it works with the image. All right, cool. So next, we got our image, we got our background. What do we need next? We need our text. So let's go get that. Let's go see what that is one more time. So let me go back to Post Planner. Let's see here. I got, to all the people who are loving and kind to me, thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. Okay, I'm going to go back to all the people who are loving and kind to me. I'm going to use my text writer. I'm going to use a white font. It's centered. To all the people. I need to increase the size of that a little bit. That a little bit smaller. Who are loving and kind to me. Again, we'll put this one at the top, and we'll put the other one at the bottom. What was the other one? What was that? Yeah. Thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. Okay. Let's put that in all caps. Thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. That's kind of put the sunshine up there on this line. All right, a little bit too big. Let's decrease the font size a little bit so it fits. All right, not bad. Now you'll notice that it's not on the background, so let's go over here and extend that background up. Put it up like that, maybe. And now remember, one thing to keep in mind, we got to put our logo on here, right? So let's think about where we're going to put our logo. Let's leave it this way for now. All right, now let's make it small again so we can kind of see if that's working. Yeah, I think it's definitely readable in the small version. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And I think that looks pretty good. Yep, centered well. Maybe I'm just gonna bring this down just a little bit. All right, nice. I could even move this background down a little bit just to make it a little bit more centered. I gotta focus in there a little bit. Just bear with me, folks. There you go. Okay, looking pretty good. Not bad. This image is looking pretty good, actually. So we got our image. We have our data-driven quote. We have a high contrast font to background. Maybe we want to make that just a make sure that's just a little bit smaller. I'm kind of a perfectionist on this kind of stuff, guys. So that looks pretty good. Now, finally, what do we need? Well, we need our logo. Okay, this is looking good. Let me grab my logo here. I'm gonna drop a white logo into Photoshop. There's our Post Planner logo. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna throw that in here. I'm gonna make that smaller. And I think that if I put it down here, it might like disturb it might make the reader think it's part of the sentence. So maybe I'll put it like in the picture itself, like this. And actually, I just noticed that I forgot to put a period. I think maybe we should put a period here. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, actually. I'm just gonna do one quick little thing here. That little bit. Okay, looking pretty good. What do you guys think? Does this look good? You think I'm gonna reach bajillions with this image? I'm thinking it looks pretty sweet. It's centered. To all the people who are, make sure there's no typos here. Let me know if you see a typo. To all the people who are loving and kind to me, thank you for the sunshine you bring to my life. I got my logo here. I've got, oh, one last thing. One little tip for you guys. If you are doing these, if you're grabbing these images, you can usually increase the contrast and the brightness to make the image jump a little bit. So I'm going to go and I'm going to try to do that. Image, brightness and contrast, and you'll watch this. Well, we don't want to wash it out too much, but let's see if we can do anything with the contrast. That makes it pop a little bit for sure. Let's go with that. You can see like here, before, after, before, after. Wow, I almost like the before a little bit more. Maybe I need to turn that down a little bit. Okay, we'll do that. Before, after, before, after. Oh, actually, I like the before. I think I like the image as it is. I'm just gonna keep it as it is. Okay. No harm in trying though, right? All right, we got our image, we got our quote, data-driven, we got our image, we've got our logo on there, we've got high contrast. One thing I would like to do is I would like to, and this is just a design thing, just center that bottom part a little bit more. There we go. All right, cool. Done. So I'm going to save this as a JPEG, and then I'm going to be using this on the Post Planner fan page. I'm going to go for sunshine. Stop. Boom. Got it saved. You guys are going to be seeing that on the Post Planner fan page. Okay, let's get back to let me get on screen here again. All right, guys. Now, hopefully you didn't get lost too much in the design part of that. Don't worry so much about the design. I tend to do that just because I'm kind of like design oriented guy. It usually doesn't really matter in the end that like the thing at the bottom wasn't centered. You know, you want it to look pretty good, but don't obsess about it so much that it's so much work that you don't do it. You really don't have to worry about it that much. What you need is the quote that's on a high contrast background. Be very careful about putting the quote right onto the photo itself, because then it's hard to it's often hard to get contrast between the quote and the background if you put it on the photo itself, because usually photos have a variety of stuff going on, dark and light. And so, you know, it's possible that people won't be able to read it. So I was just keeping it simple, and I put it on a straight dark background. So we have our image. Let's review a little bit. Um, let's see here. Okay. So we had those 4 things. Maybe I should answer a few questions here. Just yeah, you definitely, the recording will be available, guys. So you should be able to go back and look at this. Let's see, save to post planner. You don't save it to post planner. What you do is you create a post. You're gonna go into post planner. You're gonna create a post, and you're gonna write a caption to go along with that post, and you're gonna publish it. All right. You can even, if you don't want to use post planner to publish it, you can publish it any other way. You can publish it straight on Facebook, whatever you like. So you're not really saving it. You're saving it on your desktop and you're uploading it to a social network like Instagram or Facebook, and you can do that via post planner. The quote had an author's name under it. Did it? Bridget Nicole. I mean, you can put that name there if you want. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Quotes are quoted without, you see Shakespeare quotes or Emerson quotes or Steve Jobs quotes or all kinds of quotes, that don't actually have the person who originally said it. I think that's kind of an up to you. I wouldn't put it because it doesn't really fit in the design. If I had a design where it did fit, I would put it. But you can make that decision. Let's see here. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'm glad you guys like the image. I hope it performs well. After talking all this smack, I'm really hoping that it's gonna crush it. So there you go. Now, I was planning to do one more, just to show you another example. Maybe I won't do it. I actually did a couple in preparation. I'm just going to show you some examples of some finished images that I could use, that I did in preparation for this webinar. So let's go in here to Post Planner and find the ones that I made things for. So I wanted to make one for, and this actually goes to a different kind of technique. Now you'll notice that what we did is we kind of took the exact content. We took the exact quote here and we used it. Okay, we didn't change any words. We did leave off the author, the person who said the quote, but we pretty much used the text as it is. I found one here in Quotes Week. Let's see if I can find that one again. Bear with me, guys. It was one about a midweek reminder, or your Sunday reminder. Huh. I think we did it. We actually just did an update to the app in the last couple hours, and it may have switched things around. All right, so that one's not there. Let's see if we can check. There was another one in month that I thought was pretty cool. It was about scissors. There it is. If I cut you off, chances are you handed me the scissors. Now, this one's, I just like it because it's clever. You can see it has a 4.5 star rating, so it did perform well. It's data driven. It's different from the sense it's not. It's obviously a little bit more like kind of snarky. It's a little bit witty. It's not as let's say positive as the other one, but I like it. It's clever. It's funny. And you'll notice that it is in first person, right? So I could take that and, if someone shared that, they're basically saying, hey, the I becomes I, like them, okay? So I thought that was a pretty cool quote, and I wanted to try one that was totally simple. So what I did, let me see if I can, I just want to be sure that, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let me share my screen here. Apologize for that. Sorry, you're sitting there watching me have some consternation while I couldn't find the images. Okay, so check out this one. This is in quotes month. Okay, if I cut you off, chances are you handed me the scissors. I kind of like that one. I thought it was kind of funny. So what I did is I created this image. Let me see if I can pull that into. Yeah, there you go. So that's the image I created. You notice it does defy a few things, right? It doesn't have a real person in it. It's not as simple of a design, but it's very high contrast. It's impossible not to be able to read this. I just found some clip art of a scissors, and I just made it a little simple design. If I cut you off, chances are you handed me the scissors. So, I'm just sharing this with you because, and I also, you can see that I have my, my Post Planner logo down there. The image actually cuts off here, so it looks more like this, right? So I'm gonna give that a shot. I have a hunch it's not gonna perform as well as the other one, but who knows? These things are hard to predict. We definitely have the data behind it that says this has the possibility to really do well. So I'm gonna try that one too. And then the other one that I did, which I thought was actually pretty cool, I can't find the original image, is this one. And this one was original. The original image, it said, "This is your Sunday reminder that you can handle anything this week throws at you. Yep, you got this." All right. And that image actually was just really boring. It had just a uniform background, like a texture background. It was just text on the texture. And I found this lion image in Unsplash and the featured. So I went to Unsplash, and this is the one right here. So I thought this was a really cool, just engaging, just interesting image. And it's kind of associated like you're a lion, baby. Nothing can phase you, right? And that's why. And you'll notice that look at the difference in the contrast here. Sorry, there's the original. And I cranked up the contrast and brightness, and in my opinion, that pops a lot more. And because today's Wednesday, I'm planning on sharing this today. So I was thinking, okay, that'll work. I'm gonna put this in today. It's the midweek reminder instead of Sunday. So I just switched up the content a little bit, and I'm gonna throw that in, see how it does. I got my Post Planner logo. I got the high contrast. This is literally white on black. You can't get more contrast than that. I think it's going to be pretty easy to read in the newsfeed. I can use it on Instagram and Facebook. So booyah, there you go. So in the end, I got 3 pretty awesome images to use. They're all data driven. They all have images, and they're all high contrast. And there you go. We're going to use them today and see how it goes. Now, my challenge to you guys, let me get back on camera here. Second. What's up? Okay, so my challenge. So you saw that whole process, okay, how it works. You're gonna go to Post Planner. Number one, you're gonna go to Post Planner. You're gonna look in the quote section. Now you don't have to just use the quote section. You can actually, any Facebook page that shares awesome quotes, if you want to put in their URL into Post Planner and like just use their feed, do it. You guys know, you probably have many pages that you follow that share amazing images, especially ones with quotes on them, since that's what we're doing here today. Put that feed into Post Planner, and then you can save that into your content, into the My Content section, and you can use that as well. So go to Post Planner, get yourself a data-driven quote, number one, okay? Number two, go to one of these free sites, Unsplash, Pexels, one of the sites in the blog post I shared. Find yourself an awesome background, okay? Number three, make sure you have your logo available, okay? Get your logo, make sure you got a white version and maybe a color version and a black version. Then you can use any of those to put on there. And then number four, use your design software, whatever one you use. Maybe you don't even design things, and maybe you have a friend who does, or a designer who does, or you can use like Fiverr to have someone, use the example that of the post that I shared with you, the janitor one. Say, hey, dude, or gal, put this, make it like this. Use this background. Here's the quote. Make it look like this, and they could probably do it for $5, right? It's up to you. If you don't have design software, if you're not comfortable with Photoshop or Canva or any of these others, you can go that route as well. So do that, put that image together, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to share it on your fan page, one of your bigger ones, okay? If you have multiple ones, share it on one of your bigger ones with the bigger fan bases. Make sure your logo's on it, right? Because we want you to reap the reward in branding for this. Put your logo on there, share it on your biggest fan page, your best one, your most important one. Choose an appropriate quote, obviously. Choose one that's, inspiring and positive if that works. Choose one that's funny or witty if that works. You decide. You know your audience best. Create the image, post it on Facebook, and then here's the deal. We want you to come back in a week, next Wednesday morning, and we're going to have you share that, share the link to the post in our Facebook group. Okay, you guys may not know, but we have a Post Planner Experts Facebook group. So I want you all to go out and join that. Leanne's gonna throw in the link to that, and you can go join that group. And then next week you're gonna please go and throw that, make a post in our group, share the link to your image, to your post. Hopefully it performed really well. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose like the top 3 images that we find, and then we're going to reshare those posts on the Post Planner fan page, which is 370,000 people. All right, so we're going to get exposure for your page and your logo to all of those people, just the top performing ones. So that's my challenge to you. Go through this process that I just went through, create a really awesome data-driven image that's really easy to read with a great image and your logo on it. Share it out to the world on your fan page. Get some big results, and then next week I want you to share. Maybe you do it a couple times. If you want to share more than one image, you're welcome to, like, on your page, and then just choose the best one. Come back next week and share the link to the post in our Facebook group, and then we're gonna check those out. We can all learn from each other, see what worked, see what didn't work, but most importantly, we're going to choose the top 3, and then we're going to share those on our Facebook page and get them in front of hundreds of thousands of people, hopefully millions of people, if those images are really good. All right. And then also next week, we'll come back here. We'll reconvene on the next webinar, on the next boot camp. We'll talk about the results a little bit. We'll get into some new stuff, but we'll talk about the results. We'll look at, we want to be accountable, make sure that, I want to look at the images that I created too, see which ones perform best. Let's see if we can break that 38 million. We probably won't, because that happened over many months, but let's be ambitious here, right? We like to go big or go home at Post Planners, so that's what we're gonna do. So look at that. Look at how impeccable my timing is. It is 11:58 with 2 minutes left. I'm gonna see if there's any questions in here that you guys have for me. If you have questions, throw them up. I know Leanne's been asking them as they go. Oh, cool. There's people are suggesting some design software. That's cool. Yeah, you can definitely use your own images. Someone that says, I was in Africa, Phyllis, use your own images. Sure, if they're appropriate, use them. I mean, more power to you. That's even better, right? Then it's your own images, and then they're getting exposure. So definitely use your own image. I see people are telling me to flip my screen because they're sick of looking at my face while I was finding images. All right. Cool, guys. Well, if you have any other further questions, feel free to share those questions in our Facebook group. I can respond to them there. And be sure to go over to Post Planner, sign up for Post Planner if you haven't. There is a free version that you can use these quotes for free. So go in there and make sure and do that. Remember, that's step 1 to the whole process. So that's what I very highly encourage you to do. Go sign up for Post Planner, go install it, go create an account there, and work through that process. Find that data-driven quote that you like. Go out to a free place and find some awesome imagery. Put the quote on the image, use your logo, and reach bajillions, baby. So with that word, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to thank you all for showing up. Really enjoyed being with you. And let's do it again next week. Let's come back next week and share some big, massive results. Go big or go home, right? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Bye-bye.